flight, its power, its politics, its pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Voice of the People, you can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Ibifa Dokobo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenda Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios. Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I'll be like, well, this TV station will go places. Voice of the People TV.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. This is Newspaper Review. I am Moses Humphrey. And of course, the team still very much in the building. Jane Ogoye, Jane, is staying back. Chukuma Okoro also staying back. And we've been joined by Dele Fanimo. Barrister Darlington Agomo will join the conversation in a bit. And also, we have Frank Ehioshu joining us from Benin. Frank, thank you very much for staying back. Now, let's dive into it very quickly. We have the dailies with us, of course. Now, these are headlines from Nigerian Tribune, all right? So let's start off with Nigerian Tribune. U.S. delivers military supplies to Nigeria. 129 terrorists arrested, 55 killed. 309 hostages rescued in Kwara, Kogi. This is coming from the police. And also, Olabisi Onabanjo's wife, Lucia, dies at 100 years. Tinubu Abiodun paid tributes. After protests, Shippers Council orders shipping companies to suspend fee hike. Ekiti poll, court nullifies PDP governorship primary, orders fresh exercise. FG begins implementation ahead of agreement signing with ASU. NIWA to acquire barges, vessels with 10.3 billion naira in 2026 to dredge 100 kilometers waterway with 1.8 billion naira. Concerns as NAQS allocates 385 million naira to social projects amid Nigeria's food export challenge. Sugary drinks increase risk of heart disease in children. This is coming from experts. These are the headlines there on the cover page of Nigerian Tribune. Oh well, let's start off with the big story, the banner headline. U.S. delivers military supplies to Nigeria. 129 terrorists arrested, 55 killed, 309 hostages rescued in Kwara, Kogi, according to the police. Billy Fanimo, please.
Yeah. First of all, the number of hostages freed in just 2 states is quite alarming. 325. That speaks to the fact that the war is still on and there is no respite yet. Just 2 states. And these are states that are contiguous to the south and also the north. So obviously, these guys are migrating downwards. They're coming down to the south. And the earlier we tackle, the better for us. That's one. 2, it's not enough for us to have military hardware from America. We've had some in the past. Tucano jets, everybody was clamoring, American government, please release Tucano jets for us. It's enough for us to decimate these bandits. And I think 8 of them were released. Up to today, we have not seen ahead that those jets were deployed in the fight against terrorism. Now, I know, and I also expected that American government would not let off. If they cannot do it directly, they will want to do it indirectly. So I won't be surprised if the SEALs, the Marines in the U.S. Army will not be embedded in Nigerian armed forces in the fight of these insurgents. Because anything that has to do with terrorism all over the world, it's a concern to America, especially after the 9/11 crisis. So there won't be any let-off. But the only problem I have is that guerrilla warfare evolves. It's not a static thing. Now, they knew that if they had not been static, it would have been difficult for that Sokoto episode to happen. And so, they are now dispersed. I doubt if they have a particular place. This morning, as I was coming to the office, I heard on radio that Torji is now in Sokoto. Whereas, before now, he was in Zamfara. He made Zamfara his permanent enclave. To the extent that even almighty negotiator, Sheikh Gumi, was always meeting him in Zamfara, discussing with him. And in the full glare of Nigerian security apparatus. So, now, they are going to be more mobile. And they are likely to use human shields. Because the southern part of the country is densely populated, unlike the northern part of the country that is sparsely populated.
Is it safe to say that the U.S. involvement just further exposed the Nigerians to more attacks? Because it feels like there's been an increase in attacks right after that.
Yes, there is. But with credible, coordinated intel, these guys can still be taken out as we speak. Okay. And
how can
but the only problem I
take them out when we have when Katsina State is talking about releasing 70 of them to just for a peace deal?
You see, Katsina State government is overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed?
Yes. Let's be frank with ourselves. For you to begin to negotiate, because I've always said it here, that there shouldn't be any negotiation with criminals. Criminals are what they are, and they must be taken out at all costs. Because a blackmailer will always come for more once you give in the first time. So the best bet is to take that blackmailer out.
All right.
Well, but some people will say that right now we have talks. A lot of people believe that the Nigerian military intelligence is compromised, and here we have world bodies like the America sending sophisticated weapons and equipment. So, do you think it's really a problem of sophisticated weaponry, or we need proper intelligence, or there's an internal issue we need to deal with?
You see, internal issues were brought in by the previous administration because of its the leadership's sympathy for these elements.
All right.
And that was why most of the 8 years of Buhari's regime, it was rehabilitation, reintegration, and all of that. And so, I will agree with you that there is so much infiltration of the armed forces. But I can assure you that they know themselves, even in the barracks, they know those who can readily compromise security. We have seen it in the social media where soldiers were concealing ammunition in preparation for supply to the bandits
and
terrorists. So we would see that. But at a point, they would also be overwhelmed because they know them, they are close to them. But because they also know that, you see, some of these elements, the only reason why they thrive is because they get support from high places. The moment that support is withdrawn, it is either they just vanish into thin air or they are caught and they will be dealt with. We have seen cases where bandits were interrogated and never prosecuted. And somebody who is enjoying so much in the forest, collecting ransom to the tune of hundreds of millions, how much are you going to pay him a salary that you want to renounce that business? Especially that business, nobody's shutting it down. No way.
It's very lucrative too.
Yes.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate that we have a situation where in Nigeria, the people that take decisions for us, talking about the leadership, didn't expect this. And it got up to this level. Now, this problem, whether we like it or not, has been internationalized.
Yes.
It has been internationalized to the extent that America has stepped in. Now that America has stepped in, you said something, or one of us said it. Now they have doubled down. Yes. It is not ordinarily.
Yeah.
It's not ordinary that they have doubled down. Yeah. There's a reason for that.
There's a reason.
And when I say we allowed ourselves to internationalize this to the extent that we couldn't deal with it locally, now America has stepped in. America does that for the reason that you said, and I asked the question too on the morning show. America is very concerned about its own security.
Yeah.
It's their national security.
So it's not just altruistic.
That in any part of the world where terrorism tries to thrive, they contain it. And if they can't contain it, they take it out outrightly because it affects America because they don't know how these rogue states, can support terrorism to the extent that it affects America. Pre 9/11, it didn't bother to them. It didn't mean anything.
It wasn't a bother.
But after that, it became a serious security concern to the United States. Now America has stepped in, and we understand that America is also doing something in the Middle East, trying to take out both Hamas and their proxies. Now, their proxies, are also interested in what is happening in the so-called Islamic part of the world.
Yeah.
Because they are concerned that, look, this thing is now between Christendom and Islamism. And so if you can't do that in places like Lebanon and in Hamas and Yemen, so Nigeria is going to be on the spotlight for a very long time.
Yeah.
For a very long time. The thing will widen, the scope will widen. You will see ISIS or an ISWAP, take on greater responsibilities from their sponsors. As you are buying drones, they are also supplying them.
Of course.
So it's a big problem that the Nigerian leadership was unable to nip this thing in the bud. maybe they didn't see where it was going, or the people that are in control knew intelligently that it would get to this level, and they are pursuing an agenda. It is that agenda that is their focus.
Beclouded them.
So the small screen about banditry, about the economic aspect of it, if you look at what even Saudi Arabia, as moderate as they are, as the Sunnis and all of that, but they are also pursuing an agenda. If you go to Europe, Saudi money has been used to build very large mosques, big mosques that you don't find in the Middle East, but you find them in Europe.
In fact,
in the UK, they are contending with problems.
In UK, I can assure you that if it continues like this, the Muslims will dominate the UK
so
government.
essentially, that is what is going to play out in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now that we allowed ourselves to internationalize the problem, we will see other forces, foreign interests step in, and Nigeria is going to be a scramble in the next few years. If we don't do, it sounds scary, right?
That's scary.
But that is what it is.
But that is what it is.
That is what it is.
I'm even more scared about the civilians that may become collateral damage.
It looks like that. Like, no one without collateral damage.
This morning we read in the news that ISWAP is also planning to test their drones.
They've tested their
drones.
drones.
Who supplied them those drones?
Who supplied them? I mean, those are the...
You see, this guy started as a ragtag army. Plant bomb here, detonate bomb here, and suddenly they got coordinated and they now launch attacks from their base.
Let's get Frank's involvement. Frank Hiyoshi, you are joining us from Benin. Frank, please, let's get your thoughts on this one, this particular headline.
Yeah, it's a sorry case. Part of it is, like I said from the outset, all of these that we are jumping on are actually symptoms of an overall failure of the system at large. That is the truth. Jumping from pillar to post. I provide someone talking about Bello Tutuji just now. Now, I read in one piece last week about the guy's work. How the guy has an ongoing, a thriving business with so many trailers involved in the business across the length and breadth of the country. Somebody who is a terrorist is successfully increasing his wealth in the Nigerian economy, possibly a billionaire presently. So how would the issue stop? Government is not serious. That is the very summary. When government is serious about any issue, they don't tell you they are serious. Even a dead man would know they are serious. That is the truth. So I can say with confidence that government, by policy and practice, incentivizes insecurity. That is why it thrives. What government incentivizes is what people will prioritize and invest in. And insecurity is one of them. That is the truth.
Well, thanks for
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. We can hear you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Well, let's go to another paper now. Let's talk about this is from the Guardian newspaper. This speaks to insecurity, of course, and the seat at home. Now, this is how the Guardian puts it. It says, lingering seat at home disruption may hurt Southeast 5.7 trillion naira fiscal plan. The riders to that one, 1.3 trillion naira IGP projection hangs in balance. Governors damn insecurity, target 300% revenue spike. General perception of insecurity continues. Mondays more important than any other day for business survival. So those are the headlines. Chukuma, I would like to start off with you on this one.
Matter of fact, I'd like to take up that. Like Dele said, Dele here will say, he thinks that story was planted. I think this particular story was planted, to put Southeast in the bad light. I say that in the light of the fact that Monday sit at home has clearly waned.
Diminished.
Waned. If it was like 2 years ago, if it was 85-90%, now I can bet you that it's about 15-20%. At most 25%. So it's not an issue. If the governors have a problem with meeting their fiscal target, we usually say 7.5 trillion naira, they should look at their problem elsewhere and not on Monday.
The thing has told that I'm surprised.
I mean, you know, because if you go to let's go case by case, you know, on a case by case basis. Let's go to Abia State, where I come from. Umuahia, the state capital. The only thing that doesn't happen on Mondays in Umuahia is probably one or two banks not opening shop. Schools are open, government offices are open
on Mondays.
And another thing that doesn't happen is that you might not have early in the mornings, you don't have interstate movement.
Oh, okay.
But from like 1 o'clock, you can go to any part of the southeast that you want from Umuahia. Let's go to Owerri. Let's go to Imo State. The part of Imo State, you know, that is still engulfed is the Osu area where Hope Uzodinma comes from and is their local problem. You know, if you go to Owerri on a Monday, people move about, businesses move about. Now, and if you go to Enugu State, if you come to Enugu State, Enugu is free on Mondays. People flying into Enugu, and probably from 2 o'clock, they start going to other parts of the southeast. It's Anambra State, you know, because Onitsha has a preponderance of the agitation sympathizers, you know. So for them, it's still an article of faith, you know. And let me tell you one thing: the average businessman, you know, in Onitsha, will go to his business on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On Sunday, instead of resting, he goes to town meeting, or he goes to association meeting, or friends club meeting. And so when this sit-at-home thing happened, they were like,
would it not be a relief?
Please, let us even rest on a Monday. So it became something like that for a lot of business people. And because you have a preponderance of businesses in Anambra State, in Onitsha, that is why it is like that. If you go to places like Ekulobia, you go to places like Nobi, parts of Newi, again, it's in Ihiala, you know, that you have the hub, you know, that is where the problem is. In other parts of Anambra, like, except Onitsha, in 12 o'clock by Oka, businesses have started opening and all of that. So this issue of, sit at home is going to cause a problem. For the Southeast governors, if they have made projections about 7.5 trillion naira, you know, they should look for a way to meet it and not blame it on Monday sit at home. And I keep asking, when they meet, if they ever meet, you know, as Southeast Governors Forum, what do they even talk about? What do they talk about? Because they don't seem to address the issues of insecurity. Every other person is doing his own thing. Chukwuma is doing his own Agune chamber. Hope Uzodinma is doing his own. Abia is silent, you know, right from the days of Okezi Ikpeazu up until this. Maybe because they didn't have a reason to do that, because Abia has been relatively safe even during the Okezi Ikpeazu eras, you know. And Ebonyi State is we have pockets here, and the governor, when there is an issue or incident in the state, the governor turns around to blame the people instead of looking for solutions to the problem. So basically, that is my position on that matter. Southeast economy can be built up. What we need to do is for the governors to cooperate. We have a lot of resources and talents in the Southeast. We even have markets. If they develop these markets, trust me, even outsiders will come as they used to do. Onitsha used to be a hub. People from Cameroon, people from Niger, all parts of Nigeria, in fact, all parts of West Africa used to come to Onitsha. You know, so if they're able to fix the internal problems of infrastructure again, which is an issue, I think businesses will flow in the Southeast. It's not a problem.
I think I was even reading yesterday about a particular governor that said governors now have too much money, that they don't even know how to go about. Some of them, I think it was an indirect indictment of his colleagues. One of the governors, I can't remember the name now. Now, you see, when everything is thrown at you, you become lazy. Most of these governors are lazy, and they always project plans and not actual actions. Now, when you hear that you are projecting 7.5 trillion naira, you would want to associate that to prosperity in the Southeast. But in the final analysis, by December, when you take head count, you discover that up to 1 trillion has not been done in terms of infrastructure, in terms of human capital development and all that. They would not have spent up to 1 trillion naira. And so, what is the essence of coming to tell us 7.5 when you are only raising people's hope and that you will dash even before the middle of the year. Now, anybody that is selling this is just trying to make up for whatever reaction that will come later in the year.
Later in the year when they don't make
so that they will say, you recall that yes, we have the potential of making 7.5 trillion, but certain impediments will not make us make 1 trillion. That's what I see. It's just like some of these our politicians, when they want to start the administration, they will make projected and anticipated asset declaration, so that when they steal, if you have made 45 billion projection, if you steal 45.50, at least you are covered.
Right.
You know, so that's the way they go about all of these things. But until we now begin to intentionally interrogate these governors have so much.
Talking about the Southeast governors, I think they are. We have 5 of them. Let's start from Abia State. Alex Oti is doing very well. He's doing well, you know.
He's doing well.
Based on what
but they can do more.
But he can also do more based on the amount of money that is.
Yes.
Now let's go to Anambra State. Anambra is construction site. Yeah. He's doing well, building infrastructure. Because most of the infrastructure seems like a superstructure on which you can build something. You know, a structure on which you can build a superstructure, which is the economy of the state. The airport there, it's 7 people. And if you go to Enugu State is,
that guy is fantastic.
Frank
From what I hear,
that
is doing well.
Very well. In terms of road and rural infrastructure, in terms of even cleaning up the city, and in terms of education, in terms of capital development and human capital development, he's doing well. And if you go to Ebonyi State, would have launched an airline. So so there is attention is growing in that direction.
That's cosmetic.
Yeah, but whatever it is, cosmetic. The other day we heard somebody say, "Oh, I missed. My flights were delayed because in Ekiti Airport and all of that." Is that cosmetic? That means people are flying. People are flying into Abakaliki Airport. People are flying into the airport.
What is the number of people flying compared to what you spend on that aircraft?
No, but people are flying in. So Ebonyi, we have.
When next we want to go to the village? Fly to
it's even closer.
Closer.
I'll use the Ebonyi Airport.
Come back and tell us.
He's always there.
To wave bye-bye. You know, and when the president is coming in,
he's there to welcome him.
There to welcome him. But you don't blame him because he's APC Governors Forum chairman.
Yes, he is.
So he's doing his job. So he more like governs from Abuja. He governs Imo State from Abuja. And so when you put out something on TV and say, look, this is what Hope has done, people say, no, it's Photoshop, it's made up. It's not.
He has even congratulated the Super Eagles as they go into the.
Even before the match.
No, he gives them hope. His name is Hope.
His name is Hope, and he's giving out hope. I like that. I like that.
So sorry, Moses, let me lie. You know, so the issue of Southeast, Southeast economy, it can do better, but I don't want people the governors to say, oh, look, we are unable to do this because of money. So insecurity has been greatly reduced,
Products, some of them oil, by oil I mean seafood, as those kind of things, seafoods. What's your take on this particular headline, Frank?
Yeah, it sounds.
You may react to the other one as well.
Semi attractive, but I think the beauty will be in the details. I'm not so excited about it because when I look at the president's mood, when I go back to where we are coming from, I look at the 4 5 decades ago, 6 decades ago, Nigeria versus UAE is now a cerebral event that the president is signing an accord with the UAE. Go and check the information of UAE compared to the state.
Trade deal seems to be, working.
Well, as much as we need foreign direct investment, the UAE and other countries around the desert, they also need us. And so What I would expect, although I know that the president, having been in the private sector, should be a very good and hard negotiator, like Trump. He shouldn't just open his flank just because we need money at all costs, because there shouldn't be any trading balance in all of this. They can't get those shrimps, those lobsters and all that in their terrain. And so we have it in abundance there. So if you are taking it there, the point is that when you are doing business, you shouldn't come from a very weak position. For instance, if you export raw cassava, it's not the same value as when you add value to it and you have cassava pellets. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not enough for you to say because you have access and duty-free business outlook within between us and UAE and other contiguous countries in the desert area. What we are saying is whatever we are bringing or taking out of this country must be of value, not just the raw material. They take cocoa from us raw here, and when they are bringing chocolate bars, it's about 20 times the price of the raw.
Understanding that doesn't yield anything. As far as I'm concerned, this thing is typical nonsense. I say that because we have AGOA, African Growth Opportunities Act, that has been in place with over 23,000 goods. America is even complaining. The American, on top of my head, I can't recall the name of that agency, more like African Interest Agency in United States Secretary of the External Affairs Ministry. What is it more like? They have been complaining that Nigeria as a country does not take advantage of the AGOA opportunities. AGOA is reviewed every 3-5 years. And anytime they review it, we barely meet, the criteria to continue to enjoy it. At the point they took us out, they have taken out some African countries out of AGOA. Now refine it and send back to us duty-free. And we don't collect anything. So people in the presidency, people in government.
We would also be sending duty-free to them as well.
What? Okay, you are sending duty-free.
The ones you are sending is duty-free.
It's duty-free. No, exactly the point. So when they now process it, they'll add more value to it.
The ones that we are sending to them duty-free are mostly raw materials.
Raw materials.
And you don't make much money when you send out raw materials.
So there are some of these agreements.
Why are we in a haste without developing our steel industry that can give us all this machinery?
So we can take steel to them.
And then take to them.
That's a long conversation.
It's a long conversation. So why don't we start it now? Why don't we start it now? If the president is
it's not enough for us to get excited because somebody is saying we are opening up and we are bringing more money. But at what cost?
At what cost to Nigeria?
And almost every car has about 2,000 units of bolts, nuts, and all that. And out of these 2,000, you have about 70 to 75% of it as raw material from the steel companies.
Metal companies?
Yes. And yet we have 2 that are just lying there. And nobody's talking about it. And if you aggregate the number of, the amount of money that is attributed to some politically exposed person that they have stolen in this country the last 10 years, it's much more than what can take off.
Or even to build a new one.
To build a new one.
If that one has gone moribund or come, you can actually build a new one.
And yet,
Natasha was actually trying to.
And that is because government, by policy and practice, has not incentivized that portion of our collective as a nation. That is the truth. So I'm not excited about anything concerning this at all. A country of barely 10.something million people. If you want to talk about trade, they will be the ones that would, mark my words, a few years from now, you see the benefits that will go their way. However, Nigeria will benefit with the initiative compared to what goes their way. So there's more serious issues to be celebrated than the president traveling to here to go and sign their talk. And people have said that if the Nigerian president has traveled there to go and sign it, that shows the level to which we have gone down in our ranking in the Committee of Nations. So I'm not celebrating on that note. For me, it's a reflection of how much Nigeria has fallen in the hierarchy of nations the world over. We care to them because what we generate, we cannot supply to our trade. Our generation capacity right now, as installed, is over 13,000 megawatts. But they cannot even supply 10,000 megawatts because if they do, and the system will collapse. That is the story of Nigeria.
All right. Let's touch on another paper now. We'll come back to this particular story. I'm sure as more information come out, Nigerians will continue to talk about them. Let's go to the Punch newspaper.
Yeah. Still talking insecurity on the front page of the Punch newspaper today. Governor's budget 525 billion naira for security as killings spread. The security votes jump 40% since 2023. Borno, Anambra, Delta record the highest budgets. Northeast and the Southeast are leading in this regard. So again, we have another jumbo budget.
Their private pockets. And they also use it to escalate political crisis in their various states. On the average, if we are looking at 3 years, and it's the ones that we captured is 500 and something billion. That's on the average about 180 billion in a year. Mm-hmm. And we have not even captured some states. So let's agree let's concede without agreeing that on the average, each state has about 10 billion yearly for security votes. What are they doing with this money? And it's so pathetic that is where I am. That is why I'm concerned that we don't interrogate these governors. We don't ask them questions. Our focus is largely on federal government. And because we concentrate more on federal government, we are so it's a whole lot. We need to begin to look at what they do all the time. We shouldn't concentrate just on the federal government. There is a lot to do about these governors.
Yes, there's a lot to do. This security vote is free money for government.
Yes.
Just free money for them because they don't do anything.
In 8 years, they've made about 200 million at your salary. So how will I use 10 billion to contest for another year? What I will earn officially as my entitlement is 200 million for 8 years. The answer is in the question.
Tune to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like PTV. Entertainment like never before.
Behind education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. Failures, we ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice.
My name is Pastor Elvis Siru, the convener of the Voice Achievers Award, and keep. My name is Pastor Elvis Siru, the convener of the Voice Achievers Award, and keep watching VOP. Yes, watching VOP. Yes, that is the channel for all the people. No, that is the channel for all the people. No color, no race. Thank you so much. Yo, color, no race. Thank you so much. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abasunkan from the Netherlands. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abasunkan from the Netherlands. I am a designer and I'm here. In Eco Hotel and Suits. Keep watching VOP in Eco Hotel and Suits. Keep watching VOP, the voice of the people. Don't touch that dial. My name is Dr. Tony Bello. I am the chairman of Shine Bridge Global Incorporated. And guess what? You are watching the Voice of the People television.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Ika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't call.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP